Hello, my friends. Here are your headlines for Monday, the 3rd of June, my Apple Watch says. These are the most important stories that impact you, your family, your country, your community, your planet, and your soul. Let's do it, shall we? Can't do it without your support. Patreon.com/Pete Dominic. Well, you know about this. On Friday, President Biden endorsed a new Israeli ceasefire proposal that included the possibility of enduring the end of fighting, saying that Hamas was no longer capable of launching any more October 7th-style attacks. President Biden said it's time for this war to end. Well, in response, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's embattled prime minister, said that the war would not end until all hostages were returned and Hamas was eliminated. Hamas reacted positively to the proposal, but Israeli forces advanced into central Rafah in Gaza, pushing deeper into the southern Gaza city. For their part, U.S. congressional leaders invited Netanyahu to address Congress, which has been very controversial, no set date. And a day after President Biden called for the truce, Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated that Israel would not agree to a permanent ceasefire as long as Hamas retained power there, so the entire thing might not mean much. Also, two far-right members of the Israeli government threatened to quit the coalition should Netanyahu accept a ceasefire plan laid out by Biden. So really, did we accomplish anything at all? Oh, and there were thousands, hundreds of thousands of protesters rallying in the biggest city in Israel, Tel Aviv, as well as other cities, calling on Netanyahu to accept that ceasefire proposal. So who knows? In South Africa, the ANC failed to win an outright majority in the national election for the first time since the end of apartheid. But in Mexico, they elected the first woman president ever. So that's a pretty big deal. That's right. Claudia Sheinbaum from the leftist Morena party was elected president of Mexico. Sunday's vote, the largest election in the country's history. More than 98 million voters registered to cast a ballot. In Mexico, more than 20,000 positions set to be filled, and voting was suspended due to violence. Many deaths on the campaign for this election, so we look at least a little bit better than them, except for the fact that, well, they elected a woman, and of course, we still haven't. In other news, Senator Joe Manchin apparently left the Democratic Party. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. He's now apparently going to be an independent, whatever that means. The move won't alter Democrats' control of the Senate, but it could allow Joe Manchin, who previously said he would retire, to now run again. Haven't we had enough of Joe Manchin? A military veteran became the latest January 6th insurrectionist to get convicted to prison. He was convicted of injuring a police officer's hand during the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. He was sentenced on Friday to 5 years in prison. John George Todd III declined to address the court before the U.S. District Judge who sentenced him, but the judge said that Todd, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, hasn't showed any remorse for his role in damaging the country's fragile democratic institutions. Bye-bye, John George Todd. Enjoy prison. Try not to become an insurrectionist again, or maybe do. All is not well in Texas, my friends. The Texas Supreme Court on Friday rejected a challenge to the state's abortion ban in response to a lawsuit filed last year by a group of women who had serious pregnancy complications. The ruling from the 9 justices, who of course are all Republicans, was unanimous. Sad news over the weekend. Michelle Obama's mother, who helped raise the Obama daughters at the White House, died at age 86. Marianne Robinson was remembered by her daughter and millions of other Americans in a moving tribute on Instagram. I really liked reading that about Marianne Robinson. Apparently, North Korea has sent 1,000 balloons filled with trash into South Korea in the past few days. Weird headline. And Dr. Pepper is now tied with Pepsi as the second most popular soda in the U.S. Behind Coke. Who are you Dr. Pepper drinkers? It's increased its market share through advertising and all kinds of novel flavors, according to the Wall Street Journal. Coming up this week, folks, this Thursday, June 6th, will mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day, when approximately 160,000 Allied troops 8 decades ago carried out the largest seaborne invasion in human history. And it will be the last major D-Day anniversary every 5 years. It's called a major anniversary that will probably have living veterans in attendance. Organizers are going all out, so pay attention to that this week. Also, India will have their general election results announced on Tuesday, tomorrow. The Tribeca Film Festival begins on Wednesday of this week. The European Parliament elections begin on Thursday. In London, Fashion Week begins on Friday, and a deadline for Prime Minister Netanyahu to come up with a post-war plan for Gaza set by a centrist member of Israel's war cabinet. That's this Saturday, and those are your headlines that I've gathered for you for Monday, June 3rd, that's the date of my Apple Watch. Happy Pride Month. Thanks for supporting Stand Up. Talk to you tomorrow.